Good. No, not yet. One second. Vou fazer num cabo.
Não, isto é do som. Ah,
Okay, so on behalf of Nucleo of the Authors Project, I would like to thank everyone for being here today. I want to give a special thank you to our General Director for Education, David Souza, very dear to us, to Elizabeth Brigadeiro, a very dynamic and innovative head of science and innovation for Oeiras municipality, and her team sitting right here on the front, Alexandre and Maria José Amandio. Thank you very much because they were the ones who allowed us to do this conference in collaboration with the Oeiras Science Festival, which is happening not only in this building but around, and you should all go visit. Elizabeth will say a little bit more about this. I would like to thank all the participants, all the speakers, the ones with the stands, with the posters, everyone. I think a round of applause for everyone here. It is early, not that early, it is almost 10, and we are all here together to learn. So I think this is something to celebrate. So we will have 2 full days, okay? Today and tomorrow in the mornings, we will be here listening to the authors' partners who are all around you. The authors' partners, do you want to raise your hand so people know who you are? Yes, you see, you are surrounded by them. They will present the work we have done in the project. And then we have students and teachers. Where are the students? Can you raise your hands? Students, alunos. I know there are more. Okay, I only see 2 now. We have teachers, we have many people presenting their works. Today in the afternoon, we have the posters and the stands. And then tomorrow, we have workshops on the afternoon. And we will have a very nice closing ceremony by the end of the conference with some drinks, some snacks. So everyone is invited to join us there. Uh, I will ask Garabet Kazanjian, the coordinator of the Authors Project, to give you a few words.
Thank you, Priscilla. Thank you, esteemed guests. And thanks for the organizers of the festival for allowing us to be here today. Um, I would like to all welcome you to the opening of the OTTERS Conference. Very happy to see you here for numerous reasons that I'll clarify in a moment. So OTTERS is a European-funded project for social transformation of water stewardship through scaling up of citizen science. And it's part of under the umbrella of the mission Ocean or mission Restore Our Waters and Ocean by 2030. So this is a very ambitious mission by the European Commission to restore, to conserve, to make sure the health of our waters on the planet is to a level that ensures the sustainability and the health of our planet, and of course, us as human beings, as residents of the planet itself. It is a very ambitious mission, but so are all missions, I suppose. And Authors does its part, along with a number of sister projects, to scale up citizen science. What is citizen science? Citizen science is the contribution that any individual could do, regardless of their background. They don't need to be scientists, they don't need to be specially trained for this, but each and every one of us can contribute to this. And as I mentioned, the mission goals and targets, and also the ones of authors, are very ambitious, which means we need all of you to contribute. And as such, I'm very happy to see here today members of academia, researchers, citizen science practitioners, policymakers, educators, students. I think all of us coming together, it's the only possible way for us to ensure the sustainability of our waters. It's a core functionality of the planet, of the ecosystems, provides us with a lot of life support services. And as such, we need to all ensure it. So today and tomorrow, I would like to bring together all of this. I want this to be a communication, a two-way strategy of moving forward. I know Authors is almost coming to an end. However, our goals are not yet achieved, and there's a lot of work to be done. So what I would like to see is I would like to see this as a next step, another step in a collaborative effort towards reaching our goals by 2030 and beyond. I won't take more time because I'm going to introduce the project later on. So again, thank you very much for being here today. Very lovely to see you.
Thank you, Garabet. Very inspiring. I think that indeed this is a mission for all of us together. I would like to ask Dr. Elizabeth Brigadeiro to come and say a few words as well.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. First of all, I would like to welcome you in Oeiras municipality. Most of you probably it's the first time here. We are a very small municipality in the greater area of Lisbon. Even though we are quite small, we are the only municipality in the country to have established a specific goal for the next years, which is to, we have a strategy for science and technology. We have welcomed in the municipality a specific office just to take care of this great thing that we call collaboration, synergy between policymakers, academia, researchers, and public participation. So for the past 5 years, we have been welcoming in Oeiras teachers, researchers, common people, students, institutions within our projects. We have been co-creating spaces of learning and connecting with institutions such as NUCLEO, and which we are very welcome to have here in our Oeiras Valley Science Festival. What is this festival? This festival, it's like the anchor of all the work that we develop during all year long. All year long, we have three specific areas of work. One is connected with citizen engagement and citizen science and training for teachers and making the bridge between schools and researchers. The other area is supporting innovation and giving scholarships and giving awards to captivate talent, good talent that we already have here, bringing up, and to bring all this work a little bit forward. And I'm very happy to be here with you today because I believe you can take some of the things that we are doing with you when you come back home to your own countries. I would like to congratulate Nucleo and the work of OTTERS because you have, in the past 3 years, been doing something amazing. I would like to invite Priscilla to share the tools and instruments that you have been able to build up together, because one of the things that you probably also feel is that most projects build incredible things, but then they just stick there within the group that was involved, which is already great, but we would like to have some of the work that you have been doing bring it in to our own work and to our own schools, so that it can make its way like the rivers and like the oceans. I will not take you very long, but I would like to invite you all, whenever you can, just a 3-4 minutes walk. You go up to Núcleo Central in Tagus Park. We have lots of activities, lots of schools coming in, lots of teachers coming with their students to visit the work of lots of different institutions that we welcome here at the Science Festival. I hope you have the time, and I hope you enjoy yourselves very much here in Oeiras. Last but not least, we have a very interesting art and science show on Saturday. If you can, it's at the end of the afternoon, beginning of the night, because we need it to be a little bit darker. But it's going to be an amazing show. So if you can, please stay. And thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Elizabeth. For sure, we will be sharing all of our resources. We have a resource hub. I will be talking about it a little bit more afterwards. I just want to say that tomorrow we have a big lunch time, which is meant for you to lunch here very fast and then have a lot of time in the Science Festival. Okay. And when we finish the conference here, you can also go tomorrow. You can go and visit the shows that Elizabeth was talking about. We highly recommend. There are many institutions, many organizations doing science, education, technology, so you can have a lot of fun while seeing what they are doing there. I would like to invite our General Director for Education, David Souza, to say a few words as well.
Bom dia a todas e a todos. Good morning, you all. Thank you, Oeiras Municipality, Elizabeth Brigadeiro, Núcleo, Priscila, and the authors also. Thank you very much for the invitation. Excuse my English. It's not a very good English. I'll try to make sure that you understand what I will say. So, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed conference participants, allow me to begin with the formula you all know, H2O. We all know that chemical formula I'm referring to, don't we? Yeah. It's so famous, so often repeated, that perhaps for that very reason, it has sometimes become misunderstood in terms of what it truly means for our existence. Today, I would like to do it some justice that goes far behind chemical analysis. Water is the story of two isolated, perfectly ordinary hydrogen atoms with rather low self-esteem, who decided to join forces with a very ordinary oxygen atom. From the outset, it seemed doomed to fail. What could possibly come from two colorless, odorless gases? And yet, from almost nothing, was born the most beautiful story on our planet. And I might add, we have yet to confirm what stories might be unfolding on others. The angular geometry of this simple chemical formula, H2O, reminds us the bridges built by this collaborative dynamic, one that never ceases. The forces of attractions push this molecule to its limits, constantly challenged by the temperature and pressure of its surroundings. But because one molecule alone cannot make a universe, H2O called in another friend, and another, and another, creating an intricate, fluid, synergistic network that communicates and reinvests itself, finding ever more ingenious way to reach everywhere. This is how water began to travel, with adrenaline in the waterfalls, with serenity in still ponds, with salty flavor in the oceans, and with pure ecstasy as it rose to the skies, only to return again endlessly to this carousel that is its aquatic destiny. And in this constant journey, it learns, it builds knowledge, it acts, and inspires others to act. Water is the ultimate example of perfection, generosity, flexibility, and collaboration we can witness on our planet. It goes so far as to give of itself to create what we call life, not only by being an intrinsic part of the very structure of living organisms, but also by offering itself as nourishment, as context, and as habitat for the flourishing of the biodiversity. In this incredible transformation, I ask you, could it be that through the miracle of osmosis we can inherit water's values, its generosity, its flexibility, its collaborative spirit? Could the essence of H2O have shaped what we call humanity? In truth, humankind has thrived inspired by water, whose currents and tributaries have motivated us to create collaborative networks and common narratives that keep us connected. We owe a debt of gratitude and of responsibility to water, a debt with no expire date, no limit. Our swift, ongoing evolution allows us to do better understand water's worldview so that we may refine the care and appreciation this molecule deserves. Along with biodiversity, it shelters along its banks and underwater's meadows. And yes, we have not always been wise stewards of this legacy of life. What once seemed to be an eternal, inexhaustible balance is now in crisis, and it demands from us a rapid, effective, and wholly responsible response. From beast to bestial, in the finest sense, humanity now faces the challenge of reconciling its original sense of harmony with the necessities of human progress. This, of course, is the tension we call sustainable development. To meet it, we must mobilize both our scientific knowledge and our civic responsibility, moving from words to action in the care and preservation of H2O, and all depends on it. And if we combine this with the power of collaborative networks to amplify our conservation efforts for marine and freshwater resources, we arrive at the perfect new formula, H2O CS, H2O citizen science. And where, might you ask, does this accountability live? In our schools, in the principles of the student's profile by the end of compulsory schooling, built on dynamic, student-centered pedagogy and that fosters meaningful learning. It values the formation of autonomous, responsible, and participative citizens, conscious of environment and social responsibility, working collaboratively for the common good to build a sustainable future. It lives in innovative projects like the OTTERS project, inviting schools, students, and local communities to actively participate in the scientifically rigorous monitoring of marine and freshwater ecosystems, while re-establishing the primal bond between Homo sapiens and water. To you, for your effort, your commitment, and your sense of mission towards both environment and education, I express my profound gratitude. And so, I leave you all with a challenge. Let's be water. Let's return to the origin. Let's search for the infinity of possibilities within this powerful element and carry this message to our students so that they too may find in science a tangible way to act with their communities and natural environments. Let's open the doors of our schools to this movement, a movement that can not and must not stop. And so, I would like to close with hope that this chemistry lesson on the H2O molecule, to which we might now add CS for citizen science, will also be a lesson in citizenship, so that the strength of our collective effort may create a world that is more crystalline, more livable, and above all, more sustainable. I hope you have an excellent conference. Thank you very much.
You make it very hard for me to say something now. Yeah, that was wonderful. Very, very inspiring. And thank you very much. Actually, thank you for the three of you. The opening speeches are now done, and I think that's better than me saying something to follow up on your speech, which is very difficult. I will invite you all to return to your seats, the three of you, and invite Lydia Lins. She has a surprise for us, and I think it's the perfect ending for the perfect speech.
Som, som, som. Som, som, som. Alô, 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 alô. Som, som, som. Som, som, som. Dois, três. Som, som, som. Good morning, everyone. My name is Lydia, and just wanted to say that I feel very honored to be here. Thank very much, Priscilla, for the invitation, because I've worked 15 years as a scientist, and I moved into EU project coordination, and here I am today as a musician. So I did a complete career change, and it feels really special to be here today because it's like the combination of all the three things together. But I always maintained my connection with the ocean, and I think oceans are really, really important, and sustainability is also important, from the oceans to social sustainability and inner sustainability. So today with this song, I invite you to look into your inner sustainability. So the song is not even 5 minutes. And my invitation here is, can you connect with yourself? Can you connect with the present moment instead of connecting with your phone or your computer at this time, or your neighbor? Can you tune into yourself? And the name of the song is called Ocean. Ocean, vem me dizer. Ocean, vem me ensinar o que é amar sem se perder. what it is to love yourself without losing yourself. Ocean, bring me love. Ocean, heal me inside. Ocean, coming in way. Ocean, teach me its ways. Ah, 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 ah. Ocean, vem me dizer. Ocean, vem me ensinar o que é amar sem se perder. O que é amar sem se perder? Healing from inside, healing from inside out. Loving from inside, loving from inside out. Healing from inside, healing from inside out. Loving from inside, loving from inside out. Ocean. Thank you.
Not working. No, I will. Pause. Hello, hello, hello. Yes, okay. Thank you, Lydia. Wonderful music reminding us that water is also healing. Um, we are having some technical issues with the projector, as you might see. So we just ask you for 5 minutes to try to solve it.
Song, song, song. I just wanted to say that for those who are willing to join, I'm hosting a workshop this afternoon. It's called Voice Activation and to promote communication. So how can we enhance our communication, especially if you're working on citizen science from the inside out? Because it's not only about the message that we want to convey, it's about how we convey the message that we want to convey. So that's an invitation to join the workshop for those who are interested. And also, what's your name? If you asked, patience. So patience. She asked for me to share a little bit about the how this song was born. Since I worked 15 years as a marine biologist, but I was always by the sea. And maybe it's an important question because it might be relevant for some of you as well, because I was living by the sea my whole life. I'm Brazilian. And so I had this very strong connection with the ocean already. And I still have. Whenever I feel low or I need emotional support, let's say, I go to the ocean. So, and that's where the drive to do marine biology came from. The drive for sustainability came from my connection to the ocean. And that's how this song was born too, from there. Well, I just want to share that with you and thank you for asking.
Sim. Não é mesmo mesmo, mas estou. Tem que ver. Não estou a ver é onde está a posição nessa turma. Não é que estou a ver nessa turma. Enorme. Sim, estou a ver.
calhar tiramos estas coisas agora daqui, não é? Não há ninguém preparado para isso.
Não, tira as coisas da frente só. Ah, sim. Espera, está aí, desliga o cabo amarelo. O que é que eu estou a fazer?
Olha, já está.
Já está?
Já.
Não, estão a ver uma coisa. Então, partilhar.
Share. Agora já está. Agora é pôr em full screen.
Não, mas isto é o zoom, não é o. Isto na porcaria da aplicação aqui.
Agora começar a programação. Não dá para tirar isto do Zoom?
Sim.
Tirar mesmo isto?
Não sei tirar isso.
Então, fechar. Okay, now it was my fault. So we are having some technical issues. We just had to change the computer. This is why it's taking a little bit, but I will invite into the stage Carolina Doran. She is a project coordinator at the European Citizen Science Association. She will be the host of our first keynote panel.
How do they change the slides to the computer, or there's a...
Carlos,
Hello, very tough act to follow. After such an inspiring morning, I now have the job to introduce the three speakers of the session. I will start with the first one that doesn't need an introduction anymore, but I will do so nevertheless. So Garabe, if you could join us again on stage. So Garabe is the coordinator of the OTTERS project and also an assistant at the American University of Armenia and a researcher at the Environmental Center at the same university. So the floor is yours.
So hi again, everyone. I'm going to give a very quick overview of the project and what we did over the past 29 months. Okay, so before jumping into the project, maybe a small overview about citizen science. And yes, thank you. Already in my introduction, I said what citizen science is. It's the collaboration between citizens, between any individual, researchers, and so on, to increase scientific knowledge, environmental data, for instance. And this is a field which is booming, which has been booming for the past couple of decades. Already in this graph, you see the number of citizen science projects has been increasing exponentially. Water-related citizen science projects are no exception. Every year we've come to see more and more projects happening everywhere, and the projects have also been very diverse in what citizens are measuring, what they're going out and capturing themselves, whether that's taking images with their phones and uploading it to a website to identify species, whether it's complementary to other innovative approaches like remote sensing, measuring things from satellite images, and then if citizens are there at the same time, more or less, they can validate the results. Um, there's been a lot of different ways of how citizen science could be engaged. There's also a lot of DIY devices now that people could use, different sensors. We have smartphones with us, smartwatches. They're capable of measuring a lot of different things. So all of this has helped citizen science boom and also captured the interest of people in different ways how they can contribute. Uh, Alongside or parallel with this boom, we've also now seen a lot of commitments coming from policymakers. For instance, the European Commission has already 2 years ago said they want to see about 25% of all marine and water-related data coming from citizen sources, citizen-generated data, which in itself is a very ambitious goal. Already knowing how much data we get from marine observatories, academic institutions, satellite images, as I mentioned before. So if citizen science projects are increasing in numbers, they're booming, they're multiplying exponentially already as is, why are we here today? And what is the purpose of authors to scale up citizen science? It's already scaling up by itself without help from us. So what is the issue we're trying to solve here? However, with this rapid growth, we also see a lot of challenges or issues that we need to overcome. Um, I'll name but a few here, but in most cases, citizen science projects have been small scale and fragmented. They usually start with a small community, with NGOs, with small groups. They're not necessarily well connected with other projects, with other similar initiatives. There are a lot of different ways of measuring something. And sometimes if we use different methods and if we don't have a common standard, that we can't compare the results with each other because the differences might not necessarily be because there are environmental differences, but simply because of the methodology differences that are associated with the methodology. As such, if we have different methods and the results are not comparable, we can't upscale it. We can't think on a European scale where if somebody's doing a citizen science in Oeiras, somebody's doing another similar citizen science in, I don't know, Greece, Italy, and so on, the results, we can't really use them together. So this is a major issue with regards to scaling it up. And because we have different methods and because we have uh, this stigma related to, well, citizens are measuring this. They're not well trained. They're not experts in the field. Do we really trust that data? And that skepticism often comes even from scientists, but also policymakers. And if there's no trust in data or the quality of the data produced, then we can rest assured that that data will go on being unused, at least on a national level or a European level. They'll say, oh, this is something somebody did as a hobby, we're not going to use it. So this is very important to also ensure that the work we're doing reaches or produces the biggest impact. Um, and then something which is very important but is rarely discussed is that a lot of these citizen science projects or initiatives that happen, again, small scale, happen because some institution gets a funding. We have a project like OTTERS, which is often funded for 2 years, 3 years, 4 or 5 years. And then the project money is over, all the efforts stop, and then that data is either lost because it's on somebody's computer and nobody has access to it, and there's no continuity. And this also produces a lot of negative feedback or impact on the population, on the citizens which were taking part, because they feel abandoned. We did all of this work for the last 3 years, and now the data is not used, and we can't even contact anybody because that person is no longer working. And why did we do all this? What did we get from all of this? And once they're demotivated, then the next citizen science projects, when they happen, there's chances they're never going to contribute again, or for a while at least. So this is, all of these are challenges that we need to solve somehow if we want the data to be used, if we want to generate large impact, and if we want to scale this up on a national, but also regional European level. So some ways how we can tackle these issues is to team up and create larger regional campaigns. That way, even if one project stops, it could be taken up by another. We could share experiences. We could solve big challenges together. We could exchange knowledge and expertise on methods and standards to use similar approaches, then the data could be comparable. And of course, all of this leads to standardization. It's a very important aspect or element within citizen science. This is to develop easy to follow guidelines, so we make sure everybody's using the same best practices, best standards. Obviously, these methods should be easily accessible, freely available, and very easy to follow. If the guidelines are very complicated, then people get confused. They can't follow the standards properly, and then we end up with a not very good good quality data. And then training individuals, being very active in our communities, like the Science Festival today, is very important to make sure that data quality is there. And then people could help teach each other, and the circle grows bigger and bigger. And last but not least, it's to ensure that the data is flowing in the right direction. As opposed to what I said before, the data is available on somebody's computer, nobody has access to. This isn't the right way to move forward. That data should flow on a national level to the government, to the European level, to online repositories, to digital twins of the ocean, where everybody, including policymakers, have access to it and they could use it. But citizen science also has a larger role. It's to develop water stewards. It's basically teaching and training the youth to become involved, to go out and do the measurements themselves, that they become a lot more aware of the challenges of their environment. And they foster a sense of ownership of that environment. They want to protect their rivers. They want to protect their coasts. And once you develop water stewards, like we saw with our artists today, it doesn't matter what they're doing. They could be in science, they could be the upcoming researchers, they could be the policymakers, they could be the artists, but that link is never broken. So this is very important to foster that from a young age. So here's where authors come in after this very long introduction. It's for social transformation, for water stewardship through scaling up of citizen science. Like I mentioned before, it's a EU Horizon Europe project funded by the Commission. It's ending next month. Had almost a 1 million euro contribution from the Commission. And it's part of the Mission Ocean, like I mentioned. We have 12 partners in the project, as you can see on the map, coming from different countries across and beyond Europe. And we have a number of very different types of institutions, ranging from universities, consultancy companies, the European Citizen Science Association, for instance, and a lot of active communities. So this is kind of the pyramid of how we see the OTTERS project to work. We have 3 pillars of sorts. On one hand, like I said, it's identifying and promoting best practices and standards of measuring and also data management to make sure the data is ethically treated, it's openly accessible, everybody could easily find it. And then to cluster efforts to design umbrella campaigns where we can bring in several similarly thematic projects happening in the same region to see how all of this could be synergized to maximize the impact. And then third, last but not least, it's to change the hearts and minds of people to promote water stewardship. So I'll go very quickly along these lines, and then my partners would go more in detail into each section. So for standardization work, we did a lot of expert consultations, both within the project and beyond. We went to a lot of conferences, we organized a lot of workshops, did a lot of desktop research to identify and promote the best practices. And during the project, we also created a new working group within the European Science Association, which was lacking for the water domain. It's aquatic ecosystems and citizen science, to make sure the experts in the field have some sort of a medium when we can come together every 2 months and discuss and promote the work that we're doing. We also more concretely have a number of publications. We have 3 white papers now published along with their executive summaries, both on our website and open access journals. One deals with citizen science in freshwater policy landscape. One deals with citizen science as a contributor to marine strategy, so both freshwater and marine are covered. And the third one is about citizen science and riparian ecotone management. It's the vegetation along the riverbanks. We also have a policy brief on how to integrate citizen science into curricula that our partners at Nucleo worked on, and they'll talk about that more later. Like I said, we had organized a number of workshops, not only on methods, but also dealing with ethical issues, with legal issues. Who does this data belong to? If somebody, as a citizen, produces the data and gives it to the project they're working with, what are the legal and ethical implications of that data being transferred somewhere else, somebody else using it for whatever different purposes, whether that's commercial or policy and so on? If it's fed into AI, what are the legal and ethical implications of that? So all of these workshops and webinars have been recorded and are online on our website and our YouTube channel. And maybe most importantly, what we've done is we've created something called the Citizen Science Resource Hub for everything related to water citizen science in the water domain. And this is basically a page where we have not only our content, but also anyone who has a project or has produced a publication, a toolkit, a fact sheet, policy brief, anything related to citizen science could contribute to the Citizens Resource Hub. There's a small link here, but we can share it later on as well with everyone interested. You can take a quick survey, give a short description of what the material is, give us the link. It will be added to the Resource Hub. This is a place where if you're a teacher, if you're a citizen science practitioner, if you work for an NGO, if you're an academic, a policymaker, could go find all the relevant or most of the relevant information related to citizen science in the water field that brings everything together, and it would facilitate the knowledge. So second point was to cluster initiatives and bring everything together under umbrella campaigns. For this, we had pilots in 3 countries, Portugal being one, Italy was another, Armenia was a third, but we also had a lot of similar initiatives in Greece. And each country chose a different water-related topic, which we'll look into in the next slide. The idea was to develop a blueprint of best practices and guidelines to be replicated also in other countries. So here we see the toolkits that were produced in the project. In Armenia, it was about lake pollution, river and lake pollution, or water quality. In Italy, it was about floating litter. And then in Portugal, it was about keeping clean beaches. We've also produced a number of postcards and toolkits as people could use this to replicate elsewhere. Again, everything is accessible through our website. We also did a very profound water literacy and education work. We organized quite a big number of workshops. We engaged a big number of educators from these countries and beyond. We organized two schools, one summer school last year in Greece, and currently there's a spring school happening here in Portugal, to train educators as to how they can incorporate citizen science projects in their curricula as project-based learning modules. And also we're sharing with them guidance on data sharing, accessibility, and we're working with a number of sister Mission Ocean projects to help schools and promote them to join the European network of Blue Schools. Last but not least, we created these toolkits where teachers, if they wanted to, say, have their own projects in school, there would be step-by-step guides, how to measure this, how to do that. So there's assurance of data quality. You use this kit, you follow these steps. It's like a cookbook recipe of sorts. There's very little room for error. And our students at our university, at the American University of Armenia, they've also produced a number of videos of how to do different measurements of pH, nitrates, ammonia, phosphates, and so on that people could follow. So to wrap things up, this is what OTTERS is trying to do: standardization, promoting best practices, evaluation how these projects change citizen behavior and promote water stewardship, clustering different citizen science initiatives, and altogether we have a lot of training and outreach material with guidebooks, toolkits, and so on. Before I leave the floor, if you're an institution, whether you're a school or an NGO or an academic institution, and you're developing water-related or water conservation projects, would invite you to endorse the Mission Ocean Charter. That way you would become a member of a bigger community to restore the mission, to restore our waters and oceans by 2030. That's it from my side. I would be very happy if you have questions. You can reach out later on during the breaks and I can answer them. We can have a discussion. And you can follow us on all the different social media platforms. Thank you.
Thank you, Garabé. There will be still a little time for questions after all the other speakers have gone, and I guess we still have the coffee break. But continuing the session, I would like to call Bruna on the stage. Bruna has been a river ecologist for over 35 years, so an encyclopedia of experience with a lot of experience also in citizen science and science communication. And Bruna also has a workshop, I think, this afternoon, and of course is also a member of the OTTERS project.
Hi, thanks. I start so we don't waste too much time. Thanks for inviting me. And also, I'm here on behalf of CSGE, is a inter consortium between University of Siena and Florence. And I would like to give you the very warm greetings from Stephen Loisel. Can you hear me from there? I have very strong voice. Yeah, okay.
I give
you
2 minute warning.
Okay. Sorry, apparently there's something missing. Okay now? 5 minutes? Ah, 5. Now, share again. This one. Okay, thank you. I stay a little bit far because my voice is quite high. So again, greetings from Stephen Loisel, that is the coordinator of Italian group. He's, full of teaching commitments in this period, so he couldn't be here with us. Anyway, is this one? Is it close? Yeah. Oh, it's on. This one? No. Okay. Okay, perfect. So just very quick, this is a list of publication, that is the white papers where you can find them, but already Garabet told you. There is also a very small leaflet that could summarize what we did. So, okay, but you can find everything in OTTERS website. Okay, the white paper scopes was to to understand the state of art of the three different topics. The first one is to understand how citizen science is involved in Water Framework Directive and SDGs goals. So looking at the literature, scientific literature, we see that, okay, we have quite a lot papers on Water Framework Directive, but okay, and SDGs a little bit less. Anyway, there is still a lot of opportunity to increase this connection, and we will see this. So, in fact, the opportunity was exactly to lever for a stronger relationship between, especially between environmental agency and citizen science, because could be very, very strategic collaboration for both of them. The problem is that sometimes the environmental agency, they are aware, they are worried, sorry, about that, and they don't know yet that citizen science could help them quite a lot. So we looked for the potential obstacle of this collaboration. Uh, but first of that, we want to show you all the high opportunity that citizen science could be involved with the policy and management of the territory. For example, in the white paper one, we underline the importance to monitor a lot of underrepresented water bodies. One of them, some of them are small stream headwaters, but also wetlands, private ponds, like in Netherlands is a very nice project on that. So that is very important to understand how much this kind of water environment could affect also the quality of the, you say, official network of monitoring. So to do this effort to help the environmental agency could really, I say, reach a much higher result in the future. And we hope, because we know the Water Framework Directive is still there after 12 years, and they're still asking how we can improve our result, the water quality in our rivers. So the strategic opportunity that we analyzed was data supplementation, not only in these underestimated water bodies, but also in the official network of sites. We can expand both spatially and temporally with the data come from citizen science, and with a very low cost. That is not something to forget. Public engagement is extremely important as a scientific dissemination in the society. And definitely learning by doing is a very effective on this. And citizen science is what it is, learning by doing. Quality and standard, Garabet already said the importance to use scientific methodology, even if they are simpler, less, I would say, cost expensive. That is the challenge, but still with the scientific validate results. So only in this way we can have impact on policy. Look at the SDGs goal. We see also that citizen science is not well spread, even in the, say, the parameter within the SDGs goals, where could be very helpful. Just to see here, we see that the clean water and sanitation has already acquired a lot of activities of citizen science, as well life below water. But for example, life on land is very low considered in the citizen science project. So we definitely can do much more. And also in the partnership for the goals. So look at in detail about Water Framework Directive, we can see how citizen science could be included in the scheme of monitoring. Already, is this one? Okay. Already, we will talk quite a lot about the chemical analysis that we can do, the biotic parameter like macroinvertebrates, but also microplastic. And plastic is becoming, even if it's not yet in the Water Framework Directive, citizen science was faster. So it started before that the Brussels think about to put in the official monitoring. And hydrogeomorphology is still very low as a citizen science project, but could be improved as well. Okay, just looking the different activities on the different parameters or index for link with the Water Framework Directive, we see that we have, I can see properly, 15% of macro invertebrates, yeah. But also the 11%, that is a mix. In all of them, there is macroinvertebrates. So we see that this kind of biotic index is something that is very attractive for people, and they like to do that. It is possible to do this with citizen science. We have also chemical analysis, 19%, so it's quite well considered. Much less fish because it's obviously it's difficult if you are not an angler, and but very low in hydromorphology. Okay, to understand better what we have in Europe, we analyze some of the most, I would say, big projects in Europe. You can see Freshwater Watch for the project for water quality analysis, nitrate and phosphate. We have plastic pirates for plastic, but also Poseidon and so on. Many about macroinvertebrates, but especially I want to underline the river fly. That is a project that started in 2007. So it's almost 20 years that keep going. So it means long-term project, a very important things. We should learn about this project and do this also in all the other European states. So we have a few of hydromorphology, if it's a very low use, and they are both from England. So England definitely in this, at least in this part of citizen science project is very well developed, and we should work with them. So, okay, we had, I have to escape some of them. So what we try to understand much better is accuracy, quality, training. Training with people is extremely important to do because it's exchange of experience. Also, we know experts and citizens together, and we understand much better the territory and what we are doing. Okay. Also with the macroinvertebrates, the problem was that each country has a different project, different methodology, but we would like to develop a network together, not to define only one single methodology, but to find the methodology that could interact between, so we can analyze together the results, maintaining the differences in the different country as well. So we develop, the challenge is, can we develop a common European database? This, in this case, is not easy, but we will try. Okay. The second white papers was about riparian vegetation. This is completely different topic because there was any methodology on until a few years ago. So I decided to develop with Italian National Network of Biodiversity for many reasons, because there in the society there were a lot of bias about this system, very important one for ecosystem services, but most of the society thinks that the riparian vegetation is dangerous and dirty. So we cannot accept that. We have to put the science, more science in the society. Otherwise, the management of this system will never improve in the future. So in fact, no one considered the monitoring of riparian vegetation. So we would like to push this, also this aspect with citizen science and with authors in specific. So we will develop, it's almost ready, a handbook and a guideline for this and also scientific paper as well. Okay, in fact, the objective of this methodology that is called RIVE is encompass both environmental monitoring and social consideration. This put together as a very high power in changing society. Okay, so I just finished with the third one. I'm sorry, I have few time for the marine one. Yeah, 2 minutes for the marine one. Okay, marine one could be very similar to freshwater, but in the same time has a different characteristic. So people, there are few people that live close to the sea all the year long. So it's the problem with the marine citizen science project is long-term activity, and also to use properly tools, because it's not easy. You cannot go in sometime and so on. So you have to analyze how to maintain this activity with the citizens that very often they are tourists, they are just temporary, could help you. So this is one of the challenge. Anyway, in the white papers, you will find something very specific about the descriptor D1, so biodiversity, sorry, and also marine litter as well. And for example, it's very interesting about jellyfish, that jellyfish monitoring, you can consider and link with 3 SDGs goals. And the first one is the good health and well-being, not only biodiversity, and also life below water and quality education. So you can see that just sometime one citizen science activity could give you many different results, good for different goals. Okay. I have to finish. I said, just to conclude, scientists should plan for and policymakers should receive standardized data and results. So what we have to really improve is the collaboration with the environmental agency in general. And if we want to improve this collaboration, we have to give them what they really need. Or if they don't know what they need, we should suggest what they need, because sometimes even this. And so that's, I think, that is the most important, and create a guideline principle for data management plans to achieve full interoperability. This is a strong challenge that authors, I say, don't know if we reach the goal 100%, but for sure we are trying to do all our effort to do this. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Bruna. Don't escape. There will be questions, I'm sure. For our final speaker, because before we have some time for questions, also needs no introduction, but I will introduce her nonetheless. Priscilla, who is the Vice President of Nucleo, and also part of the OTTERS project, where she's responsible for the work of including citizen science in education. The floor is yours.
Pronto, vamos ao sítio certo.
I thank you for your patience. Everything you see happening here is because we have participants online. So we are doing it through Zoom and here at the same time. And Rosa is in the back hosting the online participants and talking to them as well. Also there, we have Gustavo from our team doing the audio visuals with Carlos, the IT. None of us are professionals in this, okay? But we are doing a great job. Citizen
Citizen support.
Okay. Thank you, Carolina, for introducing me. Thank you, Garabet and Bruna, for the amazing talks. I think this is explaining a lot what we have been doing in Otters. Before I say anything else, I am Priscilla. I work in Nucleo. And Nucleo is an NGO based in Portugal, but we work throughout the world in innovation and education. One thing about me and my team is that we believe that education is the most powerful tool we have to promote change in the world and to make this world the place we want it to be, to empower communities. So this is why we said yes when we were challenged to be part of OTTERS, an amazing project, by the way, and to define a way to integrate citizen science in education. Of course, this makes perfect sense. Citizen science is a fantastic way to bring schools from that, which you see on that side, to something more like this. So from a school where students are sitting with their backs to each other, listening to a teacher explaining, to a paradigm of education where students are actively learning, where they learn inside the school and outside the school, where they are seeking for knowledge, where they are getting their hands dirty and understanding why they are learning what they are learning, where they don't feel bored, where they are developing immense competencies while they are promoting community development. And through citizen science, students will learn science not by pretending to be scientists, but by actually doing science, being scientists, and generating new scientific knowledge. So, of course, it makes perfect sense to integrate it as a pedagogical approach in education. It is also a fantastic vehicle for education for the Sustainable Development Goals, as Bruna and Garabet, I think, have made clear. One very important thing to consider is that when we empower students, we empower the community as a whole, because students bring the competencies that they learn in the school into their families. But not just that, citizen science actually brings students outside the school, promoting development with and for the community. So it's also a very important way to ensure that education is empowering communities as a whole. So we were thinking, okay, how can we do this? How can we define a roadmap to integrate citizen science in education? And we thought that instead of creating a roadmap for teachers, we would create a roadmap with teachers, because teachers are the ones in the field every single day working with the students. It made all the sense. And we did not make up that number. We actually worked with 333 school teachers from Portugal, Italy, Greece, and Armenia. Some of them are here today. from OTTERS municipality as well. I see at least one there in the audience. So we involved them through several participatory sessions, where first we asked them to tell us what citizen science was, so that we could understand if teachers as a whole knew what citizen science was. When they understood what it was, we asked them to map how they would integrate citizen science within their curriculum. And then we did a SCOT analysis. SCOT stands for identifying the inner strengths and challenges, the ones I have within myself, and the existing opportunities and threats in my environment. So moving straight ahead into the insights, we realized that most teachers do not know what citizen science is. Although they say they know, they describe citizen science as, for example, community actions where we just clean a beach, or the science that is done for the benefit of the citizens, or the science that studies citizenship. So there are several misconceptions, and we realize that there is a big need to raise awareness in school communities to what citizen science is and the power it has. Nonetheless, at least 30% of teachers knew what citizen science was. We also understood that citizen science can be integrated in every single subject domain. When we asked teachers to map where they could work with citizen science, they not only identified scientific subject domains, but the ones in bold: English, Portuguese, civic education, physical education, history, economy. So this shows us that there is not just one solution or one subject domain where we can work with citizen science. It is a cross-curricular approach. But what's important is that teachers have autonomy to define their own tailored pathway to work with citizen science. And then the results from the SCOT analysis were very interesting. For example, teachers find that the most important strength is motivation, of course. When we are motivated, we go until the end of the world if we have to, right? They also identify several competencies as being important: being organized, being creative, being organized, some say being entrepreneur, being innovative. And interestingly, they say that caring for the environment is a strength, which means that they recognize citizen science as a vehicle to promote stewardship for the environment within school communities. The inner challenges, I think we could all predict that this is something we all know. Teachers find sometimes difficulty in managing time because of the extensive curriculums, because of the many projects, because of many things in school. Lack of know-how or training, of course, this is necessary, and difficulty in motivating students. And this is a very important challenge. When they identify the existing opportunities, this is more variable, but the most strong one was having partnerships with external organizations. So when they have these partnerships, school feels supported, so it's easier to innovate in whatever way they want. Some schools already have science clubs, already are working through projects. This is considered an opportunity because citizen science fits right into this as well. Students' motivation is appearing here for the second time as an opportunity. When students are motivated, they also motivate their teachers. And support from the school leadership obviously is very important. And then the threats, again, lack of time, extensive curriculums, we know this. Teachers also feel very alone sometimes where they don't have colleagues or support from the school, so they feel alone in trying to innovate. This is not effective. Again, the third time, students' lack of interest might be a threat, and lack of resources. So we looked into all of this and we thought, how can we design a roadmap to integrate citizen science in education, considering the existing needs, the actual needs? And we designed a pyramid with 3 layers. The base layer, the most important one, are the teachers, okay? The teachers, the students, the families. They should be able to co-create their tailored pathways to educate through citizen science. And it could be different from each class, from year to year. It should be tailored to the context, but it should always be an interdisciplinary approach. It should always be student-centered. Students should be in the center of their learning, and it should be co-created. Teachers don't have to do this alone, and they shouldn't. They have to do it with the teachers, with the families, with the leadership, with local municipalities, with local partners, research institutions, whoever is around. And of course, to support them, they need support, right? This is where we come up. Local municipalities, institutions like Nucleo, the OTTERS partners, researchers, universities, teacher trainers, everyone that is around the schools are called into offering a supportive ecosystem. We should be offering professional development opportunities that are tailored to the teacher's needs, that promote collaboration within the schools. So when we have a teacher training course, we can say, please work in interdisciplinary groups within the school. You don't have to do it alone, do it together. We can promote the forming of collaborations with local partners so that the change is sustainable. Local partners can continue to supporting schools. But most importantly, is to raise awareness, to be inspirational, and to be there to say, change is really difficult, it's very scary, but you are not alone. We hold your hands and we go all the way with you so that you can actually do this. So the second layer of the pyramid is also very important. And if you can establish a community of practice, they sometimes are not effective, but sometimes they are. And when they are very important, because then if we have to leave, the schools are not left alone. They have each other and they support each other. And then finally, the top-down approach. We should be influencing policies that support all of this and that pave the way. And to do so, we have designed a policy brief with several recommendations for policy. I see the faces of some people here that are appearing in the pictures. This policy brief includes recommendations for policymakers to recognize citizen science as a valid pedagogical approach, to integrate it in national curriculums in a cross-curricular manner, and to offer autonomy and flexibility to the schools so that they can design and co-create their own way of working with citizen science. This document is available for anyone who wants to access it. There's the QR code. It's also on our website. So use, share, do whatever you want with it. I would also like to say that we did the same participatory approach, but in a smaller scale, in 3 universities in the Netherlands, with students and staff from the university. And although they identified some challenges like ensuring data consistency, security, privacy, limited resources, they recognize that citizen science is also valuable for universities. It can bridge the gap between citizens and scientists. It can promote stewardship for the environment, engagement from the communities, and it has many benefits. So we believe that the same participatory approach should be done in universities, and the roadmap should be designed as well to integrate citizen science in universities. Garabet has told you about the Authors Resource Hub, so I will not repeat. I will just say that we have some resources for teachers there, so you will be able to find them there. And the postcards that we have, you can print them, use them, distribute. Some of them are outside in the table, so you can just grab some for yourselves as well. And I would like to end my presentation with a closing remark that there are many, many, many students in the world. In Europe alone, we have over 90 million students. This is a lot of people. And we usually talk about education as planting the seeds for the future. But maybe we should start considering education as a tool to change the now, to improve the world now. We don't have to wait for 12 years for students to be ready to contribute to their community. They can contribute from the moment they enter school until the moment they are out. And they want to. They just want the opportunity to do so. And I want to raise awareness that we have a spring school for teachers happening right now. And many of them are sitting here. So can you raise your hand so people see? Yes, this audience is full of teachers. They came from several parts of the world. We have teachers here from Greece, from Armenia, from Ukraine, from Italy, from Portugal. I am sorry if I'm forgetting some other country, but this is amazing. You have traveled so far to come here to learn with us, to improve the way that you are teaching so that your students can benefit from that. And I love this sentence that says, behind every child who believes in themselves is a teacher who believed in them first. You have the most important jobs in the world. So I would like everyone to give a round of applause for the teachers in this room. Thank you.
Thank you, Priscilla. Can you hear me? Yes. Thank you to all the speakers who are now, hey, don't leave. I would like to open the floor for questions. I have several, but I would prioritize the audience if you have any questions you would like to ask. Ah.
Hi. Hi, I'm Elizabeth. Do you hear me? Okay. So thank you very much for your presentations. I'm Elizabeth. I work in the municipality. We have a citizen science program, but I listen very careful to the challenges that you have so well stated there. How would you say, or what suggestions would you give us? What would you recommend us as a municipality to do in order to keep up this work and raise some of the challenges that you have identified? Thank you.
Yes. Well, first of all, when you work with citizens, there is a huge group of humans, so you have to be very adaptable. So it calls trail methodology. So you have to do something that is adapt for your group. So because it depends from the age, that even the weather sometimes. So you have to know each other. And also you have to give space to citizens to underline, to rise their own capacity and their own knowledge that they have on the territory. Only in this way is a very win-win approach. So you really have, it's like a friendships. For me, it's like that. I have several projects, but it becomes a sort of friendship that we try to do the best for both. And obviously, without to forget that we are doing science. So science must be okay, it's a serious things, but we have to enjoy every time that we work together.
Maybe I can add a point or two on that. I think municipalities are well placed to establish that link and provide the necessary space and support for scaling up, because it could be a very good link between citizens and communities towards the national government, for instance. And I can give examples of a couple of things we're doing in Armenia. In the pilot we have in a lake basin, the largest freshwater lake in the region. We are working now with 8 schools, and each school has adopted a river nearby that they go with their students and measure water quality every week. And they're collecting all this data. It's going to become publicly available, that the students themselves not only see their results, but they also see the results of the other schools, and then they can analyze together. They compare the water quality in the different rivers and start asking the right questions. Why is our river more polluted? What can we do about it? And raise these questions on the community level. And one way we're trying to integrate the public authorities or the regional authorities in this is we want to organize these events once or twice a year, where the students themselves present the results to the municipalities, to the regional authorities, and start the local discussion ground up, from the youth up, and involve all the community members. And I think if, as municipalities, you can organize similar events by providing the space, the support needed, and raise these issues that the community are identifying as important, that could be scaled up even further on a national level later on. So in the scaling up process, I think it's a very organic way to kind of support and help develop these movements to grow.
Maybe we have time for one more question. Do we have time for one more question? Yeah.
Thank you. Well, it was really inspired for us because we are young researchers and we are trying to do citizen science activities, so we are learning. And one difficult thing that we are like trying to face, it's to engage with the people. So my question is, the target of your project. I know that Priscilla is more focused on schools, but for us, for example, we are working with with the program Ciencia Viva. So from Viana do Castelo to Porto, we are working with them. But then we have the lack of that of that help, and we have to go to the people. So, what kind of recommendation you can give us, and what kind of the target you can recommend that to us when we are like starting in a new city and we have to start with this project, with a citizen project.
I can give my opinion and then Bruna can continue with hers. I don't think there's one size fits all answer, honestly. And not only for citizen science, for engagement in general. I teach at the university. I have a lot of students every semester. Each student has a different interest. And to really reach out to each individual, I have to see what their interests are, what they care for, and kind of find my way through that. So if you want to start a project in the city, I think the best way, in my opinion, would be to gather around people from the community and ask them what their challenges are, what their issues are. Because if they tell you this is something we have in our neighborhood, we have a dirty river we want to clean, I don't know, have a stinking pond nobody's happy with, it's already coming from their personal concerns and they will be already very motivated to engage. If you come and tell them, we want you to work on this, but nobody cares about that topic, it's very difficult. So again, in our projects, with the schools, why they adopted the river, because a lot of these rivers were bringing pollution and nutrients to the big lake. And the lake in the last few years, it was we've been seeing a lot of harmful algal blooms. In the summer, it goes green, nobody wants to swim. And everybody was sad about that. We have a lake, we have 3 months to swim. In the summer, it goes green, we can't have fun. So when you already approach them, or this comes from them, that we have a problem we want to solve, you're already more than halfway there. They're engaged. So I think as a first step, it's to listen to what they want and then try to support them to do that. At least that's my opinion.
I add only one thing, because Garabet already said very important, and I completely agree with him. But once it's happened to me that someone asked me, "Oh, you have to start a project in that area," and say, "Well, where I can start from?" And I go through the old association in the area, and what I found was I thought the environmental association could be the best, but at least it was not the case. But the cultural association were the most active to be engaged, because okay, the environmental association very often, not always, because I work with many of them, they want to do their own project. So usually, but the cultural association, they take care about their territory. And they want to do something, and they want to learn more about the environment. This was my experience first. Then there is another opportunity, is water blitz or bio blitz, where you collect a lot of people in a weekend. And so in this way, it's a sort of advertisement about, hello, we are doing this in this area. If you want become, I'd say, long-term citizens, you can do this, and you realize what does it mean. That only two.
Yeah, we have one more question.
Thank you. Yeah, hi, Teresa Fonseca from LPN. I have a question on the other end of the spectrum, which is the policymaker issues, which is basically how can you give us some tips and recommendations of getting citizen science effectively integrated into the policy legislation? Yeah. national, locally, and European levels, whatever. Thank you.
Um, it's not easy, and I think that's the summary, but it's doable. But you have to, I think the challenge here is to find the right way of communicating and right way of designing. So one thing we've been trying to do within Authors with the white papers is to exactly look into the gaps of the European policy landscape and legislation with the Water Framework Directive, with Marine Strategy Framework Directive, and so on, and see where citizen science could fill in the gaps. But I also know, because I've interacted a lot with governments and authorities, to know every time we say, but this is important and you need to add it to the environmental reporting, they would say, we're already putting in so much effort and money, and we can't add more parameters. A very good example that Bruna brought up in her presentation was the riparian vegetation. If we now go and tell governments, hey, or the European Commission, we have to add riparian vegetation monitoring into the Water Framework Directive reporting every 5 years, I'm quite sure most governments would start protesting. Oh, you're adding one more thing to do on a long list of things we're obliged to do already. But here is maybe one way to say, these are very important parameters that we need to add to our monitoring. And you don't need to take all of the burden yourselves. If we develop proper standardized citizen science methodologies of how citizens could contribute to the monitoring, it could, on one hand, be added with minimal, say, effort on authorities' part. So that's one way of selling it. We add to the data, we contribute to the data, we add to the understanding of our ecosystems and how they're changing. But this effort is coming from citizens. It's low cost. You can cover very large spatial geography with it because you have citizens everywhere. And if we make sure this is of good quality, then why not? It could complement to the reporting. So again, it's technically working on ways to provide an additional service and they can get benefits. But again, I think here there's also the stigma of the quality, and this is something that needs to be integrated. So one way we could do that is to always have ways of checking and rechecking the data. One thing we've been doing, for instance, again in Armenia, is the rivers that the citizens are monitoring are also monitored by national authorities, but on a much less frequency. They do it once a month, whereas citizens are doing it weekly. But then there's this element where you can compare the data. If you see the results are similar, it's already, validated. So the authorities would be a lot more keen to adopt. I don't know if you want to add something too.
I don't want to add, just the problem is that they need us, they need citizen science. The problem is they don't know yet about that. But when they realize that, they will ask us to do a lot of collaboration with them. But okay.
I just want to add for the ladies in the middle that asks what to do when you arrive in a place you don't know anyone. I think they answered fine, perfectly. I just want to say a keyword, which is collaborations. Okay, when you don't know anyone, when you don't know how to reach people, already you have people in the place that are working with these people, and this can be schools, institutions, whatever. I also just want to say that European Commission is opening a participatory approach, just to answer to your question, where they make surveys and they ask citizens, scientists, whoever wants to participate, to share papers, to share documents, to share ideas. I haven't seen the result of this yet, but I think it's a really important way. And many municipalities are also doing the same, opening participatory approach where everyone, the students in this room, the teachers, anyone can tell them what they feel should be done, show resources. So this is how we can influence policies. It is first believing that we can and then finding the ways to communicate and to talk to them. And we need, because as Bruna says, they don't know they need us. Sometimes they know, but we need to show them that they do.
Okay.
Last, well, at the beginning of the week, I was at the IMBO workshop in Italy at this International Bureau de Law, and they talk about a lot of things, participatory process and how to improve the management of the territory. But I was the only one that asked why you don't improve citizen science. And people look at this, what's that? So we have to share more about that.
We can talk about this as long as we, we can go. So at some point you have to stop us, Carolina. But one thing about also how citizen science helps policymakers, if they're going in the right direction, is to increase awareness and buy-in with regards to some of the policies they're trying to implement. If we look into, for instance, a lot of the protests that were happening last year with the European Green Deal, with the farmers, and sometimes governments, in terms of mitigating climate change impacts or trying to have more green agendas, they try to increase taxes, sometimes increase regulations when people, if they don't have an understanding of the challenges of and why these decisions are taken, will initially protest. But if they are integral in data collection, data analysis, they themselves understand the challenges that the ecosystems are facing, there will be a lot more buy-in coming from the population, and that is very important. The other thing which I talked about, clustering initiatives, going into more regional projects versus only local, is to also understand somebody's impact further away from their communities. With water, it's an excellent example because water flows. So, for instance, I don't live on the coast, but I could have impact, very significant impact on a river, which would flow downstream and have impact on other communities. So if the government is spending taxpayer money, say, on coastal cleanup, I wouldn't say, how is that going to benefit me? I would say, no, that river, whatever I throw in the river, will go to the coast, will pollute the coast. It might create a dead zone. So I'm personally involved. But all of this comes with water literacy. All of this comes with awareness and understanding. And if we're educating the people, the youth, the students, every member in the community about these implications, there will be a lot more buy-in to support these policies versus just protesting against, why are you spending my money in this way that I don't see any benefit from.
Okay, thank you so much. Before we officially end the session, I just want to take us back 1 second to how we started and how something very powerful that we scientists or citizen scientists sometimes forget is that we are all human and we all need water. And we had a beautiful example today of scientists and artists and policymakers coming together and creating the space where we can all connect to a simple thing, which is water, and how we are all invested in protecting it in these many ways. So let's not forget that, and let's leave to our coffee break, which is now shorter than previously planned. So we should all be back here at 12. And remember that regardless of titles or where we live, we are all human and we all need water. And that's where the power is. So see you all later.
Hi. The button for the next situation is there. Or if it doesn't go well, we could just. Yeah. É assim, a questão aqui é, isto está um tempo. Todas as apresentações estão aqui. A nível meu, posso, mas demora mais tempo. É assim, que eu. Sim, é isso que eu vou fazer.
Está a funcionar a academia aqui ou não?
Não.
É o portátil. Vamos que do outro portátil. Trocar com o lá de cima.
Não, a questão não é essa. Nós testámos na terça-feira e funcionou.
Já todas.
São dois painéis em cima. Se o computador adiantar, e para trás o desktop show. Assim não tens que parar a copiar e voltar a copiar. E ao invés de fazer tempo, faz livre. Isso resolve o teu problema todo.
Não precisa trocar. Sim. Então vou pedir para esquecer aí.
Eu tenho.
Não, mas isso depois eu tive de instalar uma série de coisas, tive de instalar e ativar o PowerPoint, porque eles não têm PowerPoint. Portanto, é muito trabalho. É melhor continuar com o meu computador e pronto. Já estive aí a arranjar comida.
Quero ajuda aqui para.
Não.
Primeiro é dar standards no nível. Essa é a primeira coisa. Temos alguma coisa para falar?
Copiar as coisas todas para o computador, etc. Hum?
Queres que eu te ajude? Como vai falar? Não?
Sim, obrigado.
we have only 18 minutes, but we will give 6 minutes for each presentation. And I kindly ask the presenters to follow the time. When 1 minute is left, I will knock on the table. And then we will allocate some time. Let's see how many time we will have left for Q&A session. I will kindly ask the audience who will have questions to write them down, and when posing the questions to introduce themselves and tell us who it is directed to. So let's jump right into it. Our first presenters, Ana Pereira from the Portuguese Association for Environmental Education, and Sara Duarte from Aguas do Tejo Atlântico, which present about the project Rios.
Thank you very much, everyone. So I come from ASPIA, as it was presented, the Portuguese Association of Environmental Education. And I bring you, together with Sara Duarte from Águas do Tejo Atlântico, the company Águas do Tejo Atlântico, this presentation entitled Project Rios, Companies and Citizen Science, a Strategic Alliance. So in this presentation, we want to show you this very successful case study of cooperation between ASPIA and Águas do Tejo Atlântico, and the fundamental importance of this partnership in the continuity of the project in the Greater Lisbon and West region of Portugal. So something about the project. Some words about the project. Sorry. Too fast. I'm not. Thank you. So Project Rios is a national citizen science initiative applied to environmental monitoring focused on the environmental quality of freshwater ecosystems, and it is coordinated by ASPIA since 2006. It operates outdoors, prioritizing learning through direct contact with nature, and it is open to all interested parties. So it proposes the adoption, very briefly, it proposes the adoption of 500-meter stretches of rivers or streams by organized local groups to monitor the health of freshwater ecosystems, both aquatic ecosystem and riparian ecosystem, and to promote ecological restoration actions. This project explores different approaches. The pedagogical approach by deepening concepts and values related to citizenship, the environment, democracy, and participation. The educational environmental approach by seeking citizen commitment and responsibility in the face of the environmental crisis our planet is facing. The interactive approach bringing together people of different ages, regions, cultures, to act together with a common goal, caring for our territory and caring for the planet, and an approach to the dimension of environmental politics, promoting civic awareness and democratic culture. So some brief presentation of these two entities of this case study. So ASPIA is a non-profit association. It is a NGO and a NGO. It is also a CPLP consultative observer. Lusophone Environmental Education, it's part of the Lusophone Environmental Education Network. It has 6 regional centers, 2,200 members, and the mission to promote the development of environmental education in partnership with diverse social actors and territorial contexts. Águas do Tejo Atlantic is a public utility company that explore and manage the multi-municipal wastewater sanitation system of Greater Lisbon and West region of Portugal. It serves 23 municipalities and 2.4 million inhabitants. It ensures the quality, the continuity and efficiency of public water services in sense of protecting public health, the well-being and environmental protection. So how this partnership works. So ASPIA is the national coordinator, and it has this work of national outreach of the project, does campaigning and try to seek new partnerships. On the other side, Águas do Tejo Atlantic is very important in funding of the project and in the regional promotion. But they organize several events and training to capacitate monitors that then implement the monitors and support the technicians that implement the project. So they set up groups, they implement the project and disseminate the results. Support technicians do initial support to the groups and the dissemination of the project. So here we can see the distribution of groups in ADTA region. So you can compare with the national distribution, and actually we can see lots of groups in the areas that where partnerships are more implemented. Here we have some results of the impact of these partnerships. So since 2018, ADTA has organized together with ASPIA several training courses. It has capacitated 97 monitors, and it was and this monitors has had implemented 87 groups in different municipalities: Caldas da Rainha, Lisboa, Lourinhã, Mafra, and Sintra. Some images of the training courses here in Lourinhã, in Lisbon, Caldas da Rainha. Caldas da Rainha and Sintra. Also some important part of the some events that are here in the thematic fairs in Lisbon, and here the River Wall Day in Oeiras, in the municipality of Oeiras. And here some testimonials of the volunteers of the groups, two different groups. Here the parent associations in Oeiras of primary school and kindergarten. There's two images, and this one is agricultural professional school. And so I can read some. The morning was great. The most fun part was when we went to the river to look for creatures under the rocks. And from the agricultural school, I find this project very interesting. It gives me a lot of knowledge. It also gives me the opportunity to release the West Ruvaco. It's a endemic fish in Portugal. And this initiative is very important also in project reuse. It's the restocking of fish populations in the river. So this is a testimonial about this. And here, this morning we went to the Jamor River, and I enjoyed catching insects in the water. So some testimonials of the participants and that are groups that are supported with this cooperation that is very important for the continuity of the project. So here we have the contacts, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, please take a seat on the stage. Thank you very much for sharing your experience. Now I would like to invite Elisa Sorato from IIS, Levi Ponti Secondary School in Italy, to share her experience on monitoring surface waters in the Milanese area through citizen science activities. Please take the floor.
You have a laser here if you wish.
Good morning, everyone.
Sorry, apparently there's something.
I'm Elisa Sorato, and today I'd like to present to you the experience of our secondary school, Levi Ponti, in Venice, Italy, on monitoring surface waters in our territorial area through citizen science projects. No? No? Okay.
In principle, it should work.
Our school has a long-term tradition in environmental monitoring activity of various types of matrices like air, surfaces, and especially waters. It is precisely the water analysis that has allowed us to perform, build water citizen science projects and fruitful collaborations with several society stakeholders over the years. Today, I'd like to talk to you about three projects, MIX, Lycaena Oasi, and OTTERS, which aim at monitoring surface waters in our territorial area. Specifically, we oversaw the water state of under both physical, chemical, and microbiological settings of the Marzenego river in the city of Noale and in Lycaena wetland. This marsh is a renaturalized aquatic ecosystem constructed to restore the phytoremediation capacity of the Marzenego watercourse. Thanks to partnerships with the Consorzio di Bonifica Acque Risorgive and the University of Padua, we actualized the Lycaena Oasi project, while through MIX and OTTERS, we collaborated with neighboring primary and lower secondary schools and with the University of Bologna. Three main objectives were achieved. The MIX project aimed at to the development of an easily accessible method for students to perform microbiological analysis on the Oasi waters. Moreover, our school carried out a high-quality monitoring activity through the Lycaena Oasi project, enlarging scientific database. Furthermore, this year we worked together with younger students from 6 to 12 years old and their teachers in the OTTERS projects. Along with the water monitoring targets, the project's goal was to promote active learning through experiments and to improve students' competencies. The project of Lycaena Oasi is constructed upon chemical and microbiological official analysis by 3 Italian research institutions. In this table, you can see both chemical and microbiological analyzed main parameters. And through field sample collection and experiments, we collected a huge amount of data over the last 15 years. Besides, during the mix activity, students tested everyday material to collect and analyze water samples from Oasi in order to evaluate the Escherichia coli parameter in a simple and accessible way. During this year, we made use of the same method also for OTTERS citizen science projects. And through the analysis, the students performed a quality analysis, also using chemical kits, which you can see here in the picture for nitrate. The Lycaena long-term monitoring project demonstrated the system's depurative efficiency over the years under both chemical and microbiological perspectives, as you can observe from these representative graphs on total nitrogen and Escherichia coli percentages of abatement. While through mix, with mix activity, we measure the Escherichia coli and coliform bacteria amount, counting the numbers of growing colonies on the plates. Obviously, we compared the obtained results with the compact dry plates with the values determined by official methods. And as you can observe here, the assembled values of different analyzed parameters are very similar, confirming the validity of our approach. Finally, the meaningful collaboration between students of different school years led to the participation in chemical and microbiological monitoring process of the younger students, of the younger ones. Through application of active learning methods and peer tutoring by Levi Ponti's students, they developed their soft skills, paving the way for the future role in the society. From an educational point of view, these works apply an innovative way of teaching, increasing motivation and sense of responsibility in the students. Moreover, these multiple activities demonstrated the beneficial effect of cooperation and collaborations of various society stakeholders from schools to institutions in order to achieve an integrated water monitoring process and increasing awareness on the importance of water protection. In the future, we will extend the above mentioned projects, and we will carry on new projects also with a focus on the detection of microplastics in water. So I'd like to thank my colleagues and all the students who participated in these works, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. Please take a seat. Now, please welcome Leonor Silva and students from the Center for Environmental and Marine Studies. They are students at the Department of Biology, University of Aveiro, presenting the school engagement in butterfly conservation. Please come to the stage.
And then to which button? Which
Para frente e para trás. Este é o laser, se preferir.
Hi, my name is Clarice Ferreira. I'm a PhD student, and I'm here also because I'm a teacher, and I'm here with my students. I will be presenting Be Butterfly Friendly, engaging schools in conservation through citizen science. My students are
name.
I am Ana Clara.
Clara.
I'm Bruna Vieira. I'm Beatriz Rodrigues. I'm Beatriz Rego. I'm Mafalda Sanches.
And I'm Alexandre Conceição.
Thank you, my students. So our presentation will be with introduction, insects in biodiversity, the project Be Butterfly Friendly, the implementation area that is on Oeiras municipality, the methodology that I develop, the first, the second, and the third phase, and some results. Also, how I integrate the citizen science project in Be Butterfly Friendly through the platform Biodiversity for All, or iNaturalist. So, insects and biodiversity. Edward Wilson, the father of the biodiversity, was an American entomologist and biologist known for his work on ecology and also with ants that you all know, evolution and sociobiology. The insects are the biggest group of species on the planet Earth. They constitute 75%, 80% of all no animal species. Their numbers are through to range from 10 to 30 millions, and they are only 1.11 or 1.7 million species that have been described, with 80% of insect species still to be discovered. In recent decades, insect populations have been decreasing, with consequences and implications for the general healthy ecosystems. Here we can see that insects service ecosystems. They are provisional, cultural, and also regulation and maintenance. As you see here at this image also, and then
Well, this slide highlights the essential roles that insects play in maintaining biodiversity and supporting ecosystem services. Insects they contribute to pollination. They also help control pests naturally, and some insects also act as bioindicators. Additionally, insects are a crucial part of food chains. They serve as decompositors and nutrient cycling, and even promoting human wealth and well-being through their beauty and ecological work.
Thank you, Clara. Here.
Insects play a vital role in maintaining biodiversity. However, their populations are under serious threat. So there are four main strategies that to reverse insect declining. The first one is habitat conservation and restoration. For that, we need to identify critical habitats, do the recovery of damaged areas, create insect-friendly spaces, and establish protected areas. The second one, secondly, we need to implement the sustainable management of the territory. Thirdly, we must consider species-specific conservation efforts. And fourthly, strong policy and legislation is critical for this.
Thank you. Bee Butterfly Friendly project aims to raising environmental awareness and involving young citizen scientists in monitoring butterflies in schools. The flagship is Melitei aeteri, a butterfly that we believe to be locally extinct in the municipality of Oeiras because due to the loss of their habitat and the larval food plant, Cinara cardunculus. The actions developed by the pilot project in Oeiras aim to unveil the role of school gardens at national level in promoting pollination insects and at the same time create conditions to allow and increase in their diversity and abundance. So this is me with the children and students. This is our implementation area of the Bee Butterfly Friendly into 2023 2024 school year. And here you can see also the methodology that I developed to try to implement citizen science in schools. I have an action plan and also a different target public. And at this moment in 2024-2025 school year, we are on the third phase. Here, I also try to see if teachers are, if they need to be part of Bee Butterfly Friendly, and I do have a survey, and they did that. Yes, they need to be to training and to know much better the ecology of butterflies. Here, the initial and the final survey that I applied to these schools, 10 schools, 10 schools, okay, and then the specific schools. I characterize the audience of the school, and I asked to the teachers if they know the relationship between host plant, larval host plant, and butterflies, and they didn't. Also, if they know some endangered species in Portugal, and it is they don't know a lot. Also, they don't know the causes of decline, the insect decline. They thought that probably the use of pesticides in agriculture. And then I try to make the training to teachers with specific subjects, larval food plants and so on. Teachers want to do field trips with students. They need environmental educators in their classes, and they want to participate with the students in a draw competition. Insects monitoring and cultivation host and nectar plants. We have done organic vegetable gardens, field trips, host and nectar plants, delivering. And now.
So at this point, we focus on insect monitoring as well planting host and nectar plants to attract butterflies. The first one is a labyrinth garden of our school. The second one is a drawing of a butterfly with lettuce. These three images are from our school garden, and the last two photos are drawings of butterflies into the garden of Agrupamento de Escolas Portela e Carnaxide.
Very sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
Please summarize.
Okay. Ken?
Okay. Sorry. So in 2024, our school developed a project focused on insect monitoring and the cultivation of nectar host plants. For the development of this activity, a variety of seeds and plants were used, more specifically plants such as thistle, rue, fennel, and strawberry trees.
Seeds of nectar-producing plants were also used, such as marigold and cosmos.
Some butterflies that we achieve in the field trips to Quinta do Marquês Palace and Palace Gardens. The children watching the butterflies. The number of students and teachers and schools.
So last year, in the second phase of this project, our school organized a field trip to Marquês de Pombal Gardens and to the Quinta de Recreios of Marquês de Pombal. As a result of this field trip, we were able to construct this graphic showing the diversity and abundance of every species of butterflies in the area.
So I will be talking about the biodiversity project, which took place in 2024. One of our goals was to integrate the theme of biodiversity into different school subjects. For this part of the project, we focused on drawing and illustration. As you can see, we worked together in classes like natural sciences to explore the beauty and importance of butterflies. Through this creative process, we not only learned scientific facts, but also used art to raise awareness and inspire others to be butterfly friendly.
We are finished. Curricular integration and
So in 2024, our school brought Metamorphosis, the play, on stage. Our colleagues Leonor Silva and Madalena Bourric couldn't be here with us today to present their work, so here we are acknowledging their effort to bring awareness to the importance of the Bee Butterfly Friendly project through the drama and theater. Secondly, as you must have concluded, we are committed students. So as an effort to create more dynamic classes, we organized an interactive game to bring out the importance of pollinators' diversity, in this particular case, butterflies.
So I will be the contest, butterfly contest competition, the first one. Some of the results, the butterfly drawings that were selected. Aspia is also a sponsor of this project, and 2024-2025 school year, we launched the project at national level. We use the biodiversity platform to make citizen science when the students goes to the schoolyards to monitoring butterflies. We think we can implement a butterfly monitoring system by young citizens with the teachers, increase the National Butterfly Monitoring Network, recognize the importance of habitats, hosts, and nectar plants, and so on. This is our references, some of them, and thank you.
Thank you so much for all our speakers. Do we have any questions from the audience? We can take only one, please.
So it's a open question for the kids and for the researchers. And my question is, we notice in these presentations that the kids enjoy this and I think make a difference in their lives in their future. In this last presentation, you spoke about have more environmental educators at the schools. What do you think? Considering that today in Portugal, I don't know in the other countries, but in Portugal there is a issue with people to go to the schools and be with the kids and teach the kids. What do you think could be a next step if you want to do that, to have more environmental education in the schools, and what level? How can that be done? What do you think about that?
I can start to answer this question, and then I pass to my colleagues. So I create the Bee Butterfly project and the methodology of the project, but at this moment I have some difficulties to give answer to 125 institutions and schools that want to be butterfly friendly. I don't have, I'm a teacher at full time, and I cannot go to Portugal, national territory. I cannot go there. And all the teachers want educators, environmental educators. And for me, it's a huge difficulty that I cannot have a solution if the Bee Butterfly project don't have a sponsor or money to pay to the environmental educators.
Well, I think all NGO environment should do more efforts to implement their programs in schools, present their programs at schools. There are efforts to do that. We also have ASPES working on the national strategy education in order to implement the environmental education in schools. So it's a long way, but I think if everyone, if schools also I think it's the work must done of both parts. So maybe if schools also show more interest, I think all the organizations involved can do a big difference too. Yes, I think that another point is that the schools and especially the students of the schools have to present their results to their communities and to citizens to show how the work that they've done is important for all of us.
I also want to say that the policy makers at this moment, I don't know if someone is on the audience is a policy maker. When a project like this is in a municipality, I think the project must have some consideration from the municipality, and the policies must be done. It's anyone here from Oeiras municipality? No, okay.
Thank you very much for answering the questions, for taking your experience to this stage. Now I would like to ask you to take your seat, and I would like to invite Angelos Lazoudis from Elino Germaniki Agogi. He's a project coordinator and a partner in the OTTERS project.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. As a host of the last session before lunch, I have to manage and do the impossible, like probably squeeze time so we can finish on time. I don't think that is possible. We will try to follow and stick to the schedule for the 6 minutes talk. So the first presentation will be from Agapi Baburaki, who is the principal of a private school, Elino Germaniki Agogi, at the premises of Athens. And She will talk about the project that the school ran.
Hello. I'm very happy to be here, exchanging experiences, and I'm very happy that I also see students and teachers, and not only policymakers and researchers. So I will present a project we did with fourth graders, 9-year-olds, in our school. Um, uh, in general, we want students to be environmentally conscious. So we want to develop students' understanding of sustainability, and we want them not only to be future change makers, but also to actively care now for nature and take responsible actions in their everyday life. With the project, we also wanted to develop learning skills, students' learning skills, critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, self-directed learning. It was a science project, so we encouraged experimentation and fieldwork. And last but not least, we want them to get involved with hardware development, and I will explain. So we are a big school, so fourth graders are 141 students. An important aspect was that we integrated the project into the morning compulsory environmental education curriculum. And we work with 2 science teachers and also the 6 teachers from the 4th grade. The project had 2 phases. The first phase was group activities in the classroom, and the second phase was the field work. So in the first phase, students were familiarized with water ecosystems, the importance of the water. They talked about the problems we face with water, such as water shortage, overconsumption, water pollution. And then we tried together with the students to decide about the fieldwork. So what we could do to investigate if the water is clean. So they decided with their teachers to measure temperature, to measure pH, and to collect microorganisms from there. And we, in the IT lesson, students built their own digital thermometers and their digital pHmeters. And they used both. So they went in at Racinos River. They measured and wrote the temperature of the water, the pH of the water, and they collected microorganisms, and they categorized them in 3 categories: those who live in clean water, not very clean water, and polluted water, so they can resist pollution. They had their own conclusions. Good for us was that the water was clean. So they measured the 16 Celsius temperature, pH 7, and they found microorganisms that they live in clean water. So they concluded that the water of Racinos River was clean. The last activity was that they present their work and their results to their parents. So we had a science fair evening. So they had their own presentations. They built the poster presentation, and they present their work. We wanted to see their perceptions, how they perceived the project. They liked the project. So the vast majority of the students said that I liked it very much or quite a lot. And they liked the activities they did through the project. They liked very much the measurements and the visit to the river. They liked building their own thermometers, collection of microorganisms, using the thermometers they made and the pHmeters. it was very positive for us to see so much positive reactions from the students. They liked even the procession of the data. They believed that they learned a lot about the quality of the water. And they realized that water pollution is related with human activities, because the majority of the students answered yes. We had a tricky question. Water pollution is not an important problem since we have water filters. Well, they didn't fall. So they answered no. And the most, I think, positive thing was that they said that, yes, I do believe that we must protect the environment. So we are very happy about it. And we decided to continue and have this project for the next years too. So thank you very much.
Thank you. You can sit here with us. So the next presentation is by Anastasios Ginis. Anastasios is a teacher at the second Lyceum of Moscato in Piraeus. And he will talk about the Guardians of a Water, a network that initially he started, and he involved many schools from many countries.
Hello, everybody. We have formed okay, we start. I'm Anastasios Ginis, yes, and we have formed an international collaboration between 6 countries through the Intuitive platform. You can see here the countries. Most of them are from Italy, but we have countries, we have collaboration with Spain, we have collaboration with Italy and Slovakia, Bulgaria, and other countries now. Okay. We have some questions that we need to answer. Is our water safe? And do we care about that? Another is the water enough? So our mission is to be guardians of our waters. That entails community involvement. That entails education, but the most important thing for us would be to have stewardship, to make every student really care and be really responsible for the environment. Sustainable practices and cooperation. So we have made this kind of posters, let's say, inspiring. We like artistic artworks, so we need to be the guardians of our waters through art as well. We try to embody artworks in all our projects. So, one question, the first one is about the abundance of water. Is it enough? Shall we have it only in paintings? Well, you see that some practices are not good and we need to take action, even if sometimes it's too radical. The first thing to do was to know each other better. Only teams can really do work that is actually worthwhile. So we have this Teachers United, not football club, but something like that. That was the first meeting we had. We have, of course, citizen science project as it is. It entailed a lot of collaboration between us. You can see over there at the left side, there's a Padlet a very useful tool. Through this, we can have a lot of communication and a lot of getting to know each other. It's huge, actually. Citizen Science in Action, that's from Bulgaria school. They went, they measured pH, biochemical oxygen demand, turbidity, nitrates, E. coli, etc. They got wet, they got curious and a little muddy, but they used a lot of procedures, different ones, and even cabbage. So we need to have a team, we need to have fun, and we need to have education. It was there we have an example of Orihuela, probably in Spain, that's near Alicante. Mr. Jesus and her laboratory team were really very passionate about getting the sample, as you can see on the left-right corner. Is the water we drink safe? We tested it in various methods, and we were glad and relieved enough to know that, yes, it is actually safe, at least in our school. And so did all the other schools do. So we were happy enough to know that, at least in our schools, we can safely drink the water. We're talking about 11 schools from 6 different countries, so that's a relief. The journey of water. We tried to use geospatial information in order to map the journey of the water from the spring down to the tap of the school. That's an example from Terni, Italy. You can see the springs, you can see they made a poster of it. There are other iterations too. That's just an example. And we need, since we talk about students, we need to employ games. So there were some game creations. You can see this animal race, let's say, here. When you pop on a specific, there's a dice, you throw the dice and so on. They were nice games. We have made some of them. And this mix and match game, quizzes, etc. You can see that's the main picture here shows what you have to do. On the left, right, you can see what is the picture if you have some mistakes, and then these are the right answers if you get them right. So board games too, we made a board game. We had to spread them. That was from last week. We went to primary school and made some tests, told them about our project and so on. They were delighted. We were also delighted. So we need to change. We need to spread the message. And for next year, this is actually a 2-year project. We will go on and throw the ball even higher. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. And the last presentation before lunch is that of students from Agrupamento de Escolas da Maya. Did I pronounce it correct? Okay.
Sim. Tem som. Posso?
Não.
Ok. Podem usar as secas ou isto. Tem aqui também um laser se quiser apontar para algum lado.
Isto é para tudo.
Hum.
Isto é para tudo.
Sim, mas aparentemente Parece que não estou a partilhar. Não, finalmente. Com setas ao começo.
Okay. Hello, good morning. Thank you for this opportunity. As it may be difficult to know, but I'm the teacher, of course. And here are my students, but we are just a small part of a big team. We have the other one there and others in Porto, Maia. So we came from a cluster called Agrupamento de Escolas da Maia. There are 4 schools, so we have students from one school and from the other school. And we are going to present a small project that we made called Endangered Species Microbit Reaction Time Game. So it was under the 2 Erasmus projects, the accreditation and also an Erasmus project that we developed with the help of the Faculty of Sciences of the University of Porto. And the students developed a game under the theme of environmental protection in Romania and Portugal. And it was during the mobility to Romania that they presented this game. So it's about endangered species, and we also use the microbit microprocessor. So we wanted to use active learning methodologies, namely PBL, project-based learning, to see the students if they have an active role in their learning, and also to cooperate practically and collaboratively and autonomously. Also using and joining the digital and electronics technologies. So the main goals were to involve the students actively and also to motivate them for science and technology and to develop competencies like the computational thinking, critical thinking, and problem solving.
So, what really is this game? So, as the name suggests, it's a game based on reaction time and reaction time measurement. So, it only works because of the human body's ability to conduct electricity. So, in this game, 2 players compete against each other. So, it's 2 students, one against the other. And they both compete to see who has the least reaction time after a random period of time created by the microbit. So this is the board. The Portuguese students and our amazing teachers designed this board and created it. As you can see, it has a lot of pictures of not only Portuguese endangered species, but also Romanian endangered species. And the rectangles, the aluminium foil rectangles. Why aluminium foil? Because aluminium is also a great electric conductor. And here we can see the flashcards with the questions about the species and the curiosities about some species from both countries.
The game includes 2 buttons made of card with aluminium foil that connect to the microbit. The players have to wait from 1 to 5 seconds until an icon appears on the LED display of the microbit. Then the players can press their buttons, and the first one to do it can answer the question. This is the code we use to program the game using make code.
the game rules are both players have to have two fingers on the middle aluminum foil, and then after the game masters clicks on start, they have to wait 3 seconds, and then the first one touching his aluminum foil will be the one who will answer the question. If he answers the question right, he will give 1 point to him. If he answers the question wrong, he will not have any points. This is us presenting the game to our Romanian friends from the Erasmus Mobility.
So, the conclusion. Well, the feedback from the Romanian students was really positive, and this project revealed great parts of active learning with projects and with experiences. It combined also technology with some inter-subjects knowledge, and this has also improved our computational skills, our programming skills, and also our biology skills, and our English speaking skills. It promoted our teamwork, not only between the Portuguese students while making this board, but also when presenting it, when acting like we were on those TV shows. We were really working as a team, and that also helped us. We also had some innovative educational approaches, which helps a lot because it teaches us not only about the subjects I just talked about, but also as important global themes that should be a really awareness to us, like the environmental conservation. So this is the Portuguese team that went to Romania and that presented this game. We hope that you liked our presentation, and if you have any question or any curiosity you would like to have answers to, we will be more than happy outside at our stand to answer your questions and to let you not only see the game as well as experience it and try it and explore it and learning more about Portugal, Romania, and all the world, basically. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It was really impressive presentation. It was a really impressive presentation. Now we will end our session with questions. I think we have time for one question at least per speaker. Who would like to take the floor?
Yes. Yes, the students have 1 hour per week IT subject. So they built the thermometers using Arduino in the IT with their IT teacher.
Any other question? Okay, thank you. I would like to ask a question for you and for your students. I mean, it seems very impressive what you've done, and so far the game is about Portugal and Romania. But do you have any plans to put other endangered species from other countries and open this up like a franchise or something? And what would this look like?
Well, we have to study because we study a lot of the Romanian species and the Portuguese species. It was a slow study, but we managed. And I think we have to think about the future. We can really make it broader and to many kinds of. Yes, yes. Why not? Why not? Of course. Yes, yes, yes. I think it would be lovely. Really important.
One question for Tassos. You mentioned about a network here that you have built, the Guardians of Our Water. What is required for someone to join your network?
the network is part of the e-twinning platform. So every teacher that is part or would like to be a part of an e-twinning platform would be very easy for him or her to join our project. We need more strategic partners because, for instance, we're talking with a school in the Baltic Sea, so we need to expand this year. Next year would be even better, I believe.
Thank you. And I would like to thank our speakers for this last session. And this is the end of the first and the morning session. For the online participants, we will start again tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Now you can enjoy your lunch at the break, and don't forget, outside the auditorium, there are like some very interesting and impressive posters and stands, and you can visit later on. Thank you.